Willie Collum doesn't have many friends in the Rangers camp. However, he does have one lifeline with Kris coming out and defending the referee. However, he won't defend Celtic fans, calling them brainwashed and saying they are the conspiracy kings of Scottish football. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Football. Kris Boyd is still not letting the whole penalty thing go. He's still talking about it. He's still bringing it up. But this time he isn't here to bash officials. He isn't here to be critical of officials. He's actually defending Willie Collum. He's saying that Willie Collum isn't biased. He's saying that Rangers have gone too far in calling for the ban of Willie Collum. But his main point is that Celtic fans have been brainwashed and that they are the kings of conspiracy theories regarding decisions and corrupt referees. So he did a big article on the Scottish Sun talking about Collum, talking about Rangers, talking about Celtic fans, and we will just read through it here and then we'll give our thoughts at the end of it. So this entire article Kris Boyd has published, so let's just get into it. Quote, "There's only one club in Scottish football leading the way in conspiracy theories and believe the world is against them, and it's not Rangers. Let's get it right. When it comes to peddling the narrative that the SFA and their referees are biased, Celtic are the kings. Their supporters have been brainwashed into believing our top officials are too terrified to award a penalty at Ibrox. Their chief executive even spun the line at Celtic's recent AGM to divert attention away from the criticism the board were getting from shareholders. Predictably, the Saps lapped it all up. It's become an agenda that I saw discussed and repeated by podcast pundits who really should have known better. The truth is, Celtic fans think Rangers get an easy time from officials, Rangers fans think Celtic get an easy time, and the rest of the supporters up and down the country think both old firm clubs don't know they are born. They can't all be right, but there's one thing I'm certain about, and it's the criticism of Willie Collum this week has gone too far, and it really has to stop. Were Rangers within their rights to ask for an explanation over the controversial Old Firm penalty incident? In my book, they were. I said so in my column earlier in the week, and I stand by that 100%. But telling the SFA they don't want Collum to officiate at their games any longer has gone way over the score. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The process at Celtic Park on Saturday was all wrong, and the powers that be were duty bound to clarify what went on. It's clear now that Collum didn't think a penalty should have been awarded for handball when the ball struck Alistair Johnston's arm. Whatever myself or anyone else thinks about it, that was his call to make. That wasn't the big mistake though. The biggest mistake was the attempt to deflect from that decision by pointing to the fact, a good while later, that Abdallah Sima was offside. As far as Rangers are concerned, that shines a light on Collum's judgment as well as the SFA's processes with VAR. Every supporter in the country probably goes along with that, although they probably won't admit it. But it's one thing to question individual decisions, it's something different altogether to suggest deliberate wrongdoing. That's what the Rangers have effectively done by requesting Collum plays no part in their games in the future. And that's not right. For a start, this is a guy that got to the top of refereeing, someone who has more European experience than Rangers or Celtic in recent years. More importantly though, he is a husband and a father. The scrutiny he's been put under in the last week has been nothing short of ridiculous. I'll include myself in this, by the way, because everyone has a responsibility now more than ever to consider what they are saying about people and how that's affecting them. Maybe Collum couldn't care less about this whole controversy, I don't know. But he's got a family and it can't be nice for them to be in the eye of the storm, all because of something that happened inside the penalty box in a game of football. A decision, let's not forget, that was ultimately correct because the Sima offside meant Rangers were never going to get a penalty anyway. We all like a laugh and a joke, but I've been serious on this type of issue before, and it's time to be serious again. Referees and officials are human beings. Will they make mistakes? Of course they will. But we all do. Sometimes I go home from games and think about the things I've said and realise I was maybe wrong. It happens. But clubs make mistakes all the time with the appointment of managers and the recruitment of players. Mistakes that cost millions of pounds every season. I've always said that while we may dispute and disagree with certain decisions our referees make, every one of them is 100% honest. That's not the case in certain countries where corruption in the game is rife. While our guys in Scotland have their faults, they are upstanding pros who deserve to be treated with more respect. It's Rangers this week. In the future, it could be any other club in the Premiership who tell the SFA they don't want a certain referee at their games. I'd hazard a guess Aberdeen have been lurking in the background in the last few weeks with the same gripes on certain officials. Hearts will have been the same. For me, we need to be very careful here. Clubs need to remember that the knuckle draggers within their support believe it. It's maybe the case that Collum isn't suited to VAR, that his skills as an on-pitch referee aren't transferable. It's a specialist field, and that's got to be a possibility in the latter stages of his career. Top players don't always make top managers, and it's the same with officials who reach the peak of the game as referees. They may not be suited to sitting in the booth, but I'm sorry, whatever anyone thinks about Collum isn't biased against one team or another. There have been enough people at Ibrox down the years who have cost Rangers a hell of a lot more than he has. End of quote. So that's it. Kris Boyd going on a big massive tirade there. I agree with some of the things he's saying. I don't agree with some of the other things he's saying. I mean, first of all, I do think it was a little bit pathetic for Celtic in their AGM claiming that Rangers essentially are gifted this, gifted that, bringing up penalties. I mean, that is embarrassing, but it's also, I guess, embarrassing for Rangers to come out and demand that Willie Collum do not play any future roles in their games. That ain't going to happen. Kris Boyd said this week it was Rangers, next week it could be Aberdeen or Hearts. As far as I'm aware, no club in Scotland has done this. I don't recall any other club demanding that a certain referee not participate in their games. So he can say it's Rangers this week and next week it could be Hearts or Aberdeen, but I'm not buying that. It's Rangers this week, and if it's going to be any club next week, it'll probably be Rangers again. I've never seen Aberdeen or Hearts come out and demand a certain referee not officiate their matches. So Rangers are the one that have done this. Kris Boyd obviously is calling Rangers out. He says that it's not right. They had no right to demand that Willie Collum play no part, and to accuse him of essentially being corrupt isn't fair. But I don't think any other club has done that. He mentioned Aberdeen and Hearts. They've been on the end of some bad decisions in recent weeks, but I don't recall them demanding referees not participate in upcoming games or calling any referees corrupt. I don't recall that. And then he speaks about Willie Collum and how some referees just don't become good pitch officials. You can be a good referee on the pitch, but you might not make a good video referee. And it's like, he uses a comparison to not all players make good managers. I mean, first of all, that is totally different, okay? That's not even similar at all. Being a football player and being a manager, that is totally two different things. Being an on-pitch referee and being the VAR referee, I mean, it's pretty much the same thing. The only thing is, with the VAR referee, you get to see what you might have missed on the pitch. You actually get to look at images, you get to look at videos, you get to slow things down, you get to look at different angles. The only difference is, on VAR, you get to see all the incidents in close-up that you may have missed on the pitch. So I don't think this makes any sense. In my opinion, every referee should be better as a VAR referee, because they're getting to see all the incidents. They're getting to see it clearly. Whereas on the pitch, you only get to see it once. Your view could be obstructed. You might be too far away. You might not have a good angle, etc. So for him to make excuses for Willie Collum, saying that he's just a better on-pitch referee and maybe his skills aren't going to transfer to VAR. That's fucking nonsense, Kris Boyd. What are you talking about? Seriously. What are you talking about? Anyway, guys, let us know down below. Did Rangers go too far in asking for Willie Collum to not officiate any more games? Are Celtic Brainwashed and the kings of conspiracy theories. Will Hearts or Aberdeen be the next club to ask for a referee not to officiate their games? And is Kris Boyd talking shite about Willie Collum just not being a good VAR referee? I'm not buying it. Look, it was a howler. It was a terrible decision for Willie Collum. Just accept it, right? I could accept it if he made that decision on the pitch, because you only get the one chance, you only get the one view, and you only get the one angle. But he made that decision after watching the VAR replay multiple times. There is no excuse, okay? There's no excuse, Kris Boyd. So wind your neck in and stop talking shite. That's essentially it, guys. Anyway, let's know what you think down below. I mean, Kris Boyd, always entertaining. Sometimes I agree with him. Sometimes I disagree with him. He's made some good points here, but especially that Willie Collum one. I'm just not buying it. I don't know why he's so hell-bent on defending Willie Collum. Maybe he feels bad about some of the comments he's made, but look, Willie Collum, I get it. He's a top referee. He's got European experience. He's got a family. I mean, I'm not bashing the guy. I'm not threatening the guy. But it was a bad mistake. All right, he made a bad mistake, and I honestly don't even know how he came to that conclusion. It was really poor that he somehow didn't deem that a handball. But like Boyd said, the correct decision in the end was offside. So I think this has been going on way too long, and yeah, this is the last video I'm going to make on it, unless something breaking happens, because there's no point beating a dead horse here. Alright, decision was terrible. I don't know how the handball wasn't given, but offside means that the goal wouldn't have stood anyway, so it's as simple as that, really. Anyway, that's it, guys. Catch you in the next one. Until then, been Fog Football. Thanks for watching, and peace.